Welcome back. Okay, I did save. Got really concerned there for a second, but very good. This got the official chapter tag as chapter 3. So the confined room flashback case was very much a matter like an interlude. Let's think about what we know here. Shen, old Lee said he didn't see Ting. Could it be that Foreman Ting was deliberately avoiding him? That is possible. Even so, why would Foreman Ting do that? We know very little about the deceased at the moment, so it is too soon to judge. We also cannot rule out the possibility that old Lee is withholding information from us. Shen, let's go and interview the workers in the ironworks. Shen, from the statue of those two workers, they don't appear to be lying. Huh? Could it be that the shrine really unleashed its powers? Afu, do you know of any gas that smells of gunpowder and could harm the respiratory tract? So you think there was something off about the smoke, Shen? The smell of gunpowder usually appears after a firecracker is set off. The firearms made in Hanyang are quite famous, though. Afu, gunpowder doesn't cause a hoarseness of the voice, does it? Generally, it doesn't. Shen, how about I give the shrine a kick as well? There is no harm in trying. I prefer not to. What if there actually was a god? What if there is harm to trying? Shen, does wearing a headcloth even count as being suspicious? Wearing a headcloth in an ironworks not only prevents burns, but also reduces water loss. People do not make a change in habits lightly, not unless there is a particular reason. The roar of these machines is deafening. Shen, this is the sound of the industry's heartbeat. Doors are locked. Off limits to loiterers. Excuse me? Mr. Patrolman, why is this door locked? What does that have to do with you? Sir, we were entrusted by Deputy Administrator Lee to investigate the Foreman Ting case. Oh, so it's Mr. Detective. Then of course I'd have to help you out. However, this room is impure. Huh? Impure. Everyone knows deep down how Foreman Ting died. Beware of the shrine in that room. We're not scared. Let us in to have a look. Thank you for your trouble, sir. Mr. Patrolman, why haven't you opened the doors yet? It really stresses me out having to help you open these doors. We need to complete investigations today, so we're short on time. Oh my. Thinking about opening this door is making my head ache. Could I ask for your help? How can we help? I just heard a crisp, pleasant sound ringing out from you two. Would you lend me a hand to refresh my memory? Something with a crisp and pleasant sound. Could it be asking for a bribe? Afu, hand it over to him. This sound is so enlightening to me. Why are we getting a horror cutscene? Oh. Shen, although this is just an ordinary statue, after hearing all those rumors, looking at it gives me the chills. It's almost as if Grandpa Ganjiang and Grandpa Moye are watching me. What? Who allowed you to just come in here? Whoa! Who just said that? Who do you think? Is that Grandpa Moyer? Ah! Young lady, please stop playing tricks. Who's playing tricks? If you weren't trying to tease people, why are the lights off? I just finished investigating and was about to leave. You were the ones who came in unexpectedly. What's wrong? Were you scared, kiddo? No, I wasn't. Oh, really? Then who did you just call Grandma? She's got you there, Afu. Shen, let's begin investigating. Investigate? Investigate what? The falling incident this morning? Yep. Deputy Administrator Lee invited us here especially. What? He promised he'd give me exclusive coverage. What newspaper do you work for? Miss, this is a misunderstanding. I am Shen Jungping, a detective. This is my assistant, Afu. Oh, so you're detectives. I'm Wen Koshin, a journalist for the Shanghai News. However, I don't think there's any chance for Mr. Detective to show off in this case anymore. Huh? What do you mean? I'm just about to uncover the truth. Even the headline for tomorrow's paper is drawn up. Exclusive coverage. The whole story of the falling incident at the Hanyang Ironworks. End quote. In that case, would you be willing to share the clues that you possess, Miss Wen? It's fine if you want information, but you'll have to offer something useful to me in return. I'm an expert in science, and Shen is skilled in deduction. Is that enough? If physics is useful, it'll supply some theoretical knowledge for my articles. You can start asking me questions now. Ah. Geiji? With the investigation of things to extend knowledge originates from the phrase, in the great learning. To extend knowledge to the utmost, one must investigate the principles of things. Refers to acquiring knowledge through the exploration of the nature of things. The late Qing dynasty, Geiji studies broadly encompassed disciplines such as math, physics, chemistry, and biology. 1875, Shanghai Polytechnic Institution, an early institution for cultivating scientific talent in China, was established. Following year, British scholar John Fryer and Chinese scientist Zhu Shou founded the Chinese Scientific Journal, the Chinese Scientific Journal named the Chinese Scientific Magazine, facilitating the spread of scientific knowledge in China. Okay. Miss Wen. Miss Wen, why are you here at the Ironworks? The Ironworks is just won orders for the Zhengtai Railway at the Canton Hankau Railway. However, its products were said to have quality problems. It's at the center of a storm. My journalist intuition tells me that there's an opening for a story here. Former glory gone. Hanyang Ironworks endures hardship. A news report like this. The title alone already sounds interesting. Yet I was halfway done with my draft when this happened. So now you're planning to write about Foreman Ting's falling incident. I'm sorry for what happened, but this is definitely a better story. What were you doing at the time of the incident, Miss Wen? I was originally planning to take some photos of the factory floor this morning. When I got to the factory floor, I ran into Mr. Lee. He wanted to show me the new metal mixer. It wasn't long after we left the factory floor that we heard an explosion and we hurried back. Miss Wen, did you arrange the rope barrier at the site of the incident? And that's right. If this site is damaged in any way, the news report might be inaccurate. The measure was immensely helpful to the investigation. Well, of course, I'm a senior reporter. Love her already. Miss Wen, what's the truth that you discovered? You want me to just give you the answers? You'll know soon enough. It's getting late. I still need to go to the metal casing platform to get my camera. Metal casting platform to get my camera. Excuse me. Don't forget our promise. Shen, let's start investigating the site as well. We can't lose to Miss Wen. It's not a competition. It's only about the truth, not about winning or losing. I don't like seeing her so pleased with herself. Oh, okay. Oh, it just takes us back out. The shrine is dedicated to the statue of Ganjiang and Mo Ye. The shrine is made of rosewood. It also holds an incense burner and 2 candlesticks. A copper incense burner with 3 sticks of incense placed vertically. The desk is clean, but the inkstone is covered with dust and hasn't been used in a long time. Blueprints of the imported furnace are under the paperweight, also documents in foreign languages. These papers are covered in handwritten notes. It seems like Foreman Ting put in a lot of work. Could a craftsman who studies technology and reads foreign documents be superstitious? That's hard to say. My idol, Mr. Newton, was a devout follower of theology in his old age. We should record the condition of the desk first. Code of practice. Rule number 1. Leaving without permission during work hours is prohibited. Rule number 2. Name badges must be hung on the board during working hours. Number 3. All of the materials used in production shall be managed by the foreman. Number 4. Those who are absent from work will be fined 7 days in wages. Hey! That's rough. If you forgot to hang your name badge, it would count as skipping work. That's so strict! Shen, there's a Western wall clock here. The engravings say that this was a gift from the Wuhan Chamber of Commerce for water transport. Here's a board made of copper with several rows of hooks on it. Looks like workers need to hang their name badges on this board when they're on duty. Generator office, metal casting. So she's gone up there. Shen, is this the floor plan? This is the floor plan of the factory floor. The map looks quite new. It was probably put up not long ago. Working drawing of the open hearth furnace is pasted right beside it. Shen, Miss Wen mentioned going to the metal casting platform to get her camera back. Could it be that she caught something shocking on camera? Need to go to the metal casting platform to speak with those who witnessed the incident. Shen, the dock is right outside these doors. We will go out after we finish investigating this case. Oh shit. Come back. Shen, we'll reach the metal casting platform if we go up from here. Up again. Scort's camera. Oh no. Huh? There's a camera over here. This probably belongs to Miss Wen. It's completely burned. What a waste of a good camera. Old Chow and Ah Wu. Why do people keep coming up here? I just shoot away a woman and now 2 more guys show up. It's time for us to start casting ingots, so go back down right now. Ah Wu, it's the detectives. You have to speak more politely. Huh? Is that Ah Wu and his master? My apologies for disturbing you both. I still have a few more questions to ask. You're too kind, mister. Just call me Old Chow. If there's anything you'd like to know, we will definitely cooperate with you. Foreman Ting? What do the 2 of you think of Foreman Ting? We don't have any particular thoughts about the foreman. He got what he deserved. Nothing more to say about it. Oof. Seems the two of you don't like Foreman Ting very much. From his point of view, anything anyone else did was always wrong. He just didn't like us. Ah, Wu, there's no fault in the foreman having been strict with his demands. Everyone did as he said, but the last batch of steel rails still got screwed up, didn't it? You were just picking holes. If there's anything you got. You two the ones who witnessed the process of Foreman Ting's falling incident this morning? Yes. I could trouble you two to please tell me what you saw and heard at the time. This was the first trial production since the furnace was shut down and renovated. So just when we began casting, Ah Wu suddenly said, "The foreman is watching us." There he was, standing next to the outlet. Molten steel was coming out, yet he didn't mind the heat. Are you sure that the person you saw at the time was Foreman Ting? I'm sure. He was leaning on the railing at the time. He looked spiritless and he kept staring downwards. You did not notice Foreman Ting before this moment? No, he just appeared there out of the blue. Railings are super hot when molten steel is pouring out, but he didn't care at all. He wasn't possessed by something. Then what? Old Chow, you said earlier that when you saw Foreman Ting, molten steel was coming out. Did you see Foreman Ting or anyone else open the molten steel outlet shutter? No. When we began casting, both molten steel outlets were closed. I remember clearly. Don't know who did it. It wasn't the time to open the shutter yet. And then? And then I just watched the railing that he was leaning on disappeared. Huh? Disappeared. I mean, the railing broke off and fell into the molten steel along with him? No, it disappeared. It just vanished into thin air. I was watching the entire time. I didn't see anything else fall in. Old Chow, did you also see the railing suddenly disappear? I didn't see it as vividly as Ah Wu did, but the foreman was indeed leaning against the railing, and then he suddenly fell into the ladle. Then it exploded, and fire was everywhere. When I looked again, he was no longer there, and there was no railing either. Did you notice anything unusual about him at this morning? He was wearing a headcloth that he usually doesn't wear. Nothing else. Yeah, I saw it too. Gentlemen, we're about to start casting soon. Just go back down already. Don't be in our way. Oh, the ladle is coming this way. We should move. We're just gonna... What are you two still doing here? It's too dangerous to stay here, sir. My apologies, we shall make ourselves scarce. Mr. Shen, Mr. Lee is waiting for you in the office. He said that progress has been made in the case, so he's asking to meet up with you, Mr. Shen. We've already finished the investigations. Time to discuss with Mr. Deputy Administrator. With the previous investigations, Foreman Ting was obsessed with steelmaking technology. And again, all oddities related to the shrine also indicate that he was worshipping a statue. Maybe he was just too focused on achieving success. That's why he decided to go to extremes. Or perhaps the statue holds a different meaning for him. Shen, things seem to be getting stranger and stranger. I still haven't figured out how Foreman Ting appeared out of thin air. Two more oddities, the disappearance of the railing and the sudden opening of the shutter. You Even if Foreman Ting was able to avoid old Lee, it would be quite difficult for him to be unseen by old Chow and Al Wu. How exactly could this have been achieved? What else do we have to go on before we... Railways. Qing government gradually came to accept the railways, despite them being a foreign product. Canton Hankow Railway, stretching for more than 1,000 kilometers, taking 36 years to construct. One of the longest railways that took the most time to establish. Zhengtai, in-game, also known as the Shitai Railway, refers to the railway line from Shizhashuang? Not trying that again. To Taiwan, most of which was designed and built by the Chinese themselves. Ah. So Canton Hankow is the foreign import. Shizhashuang to Taiwan, Shitai, was Chinese of origin. Interesting. Stations have come to a temporary close. We discussed them with Deputy Administrator Lee. Interestingly, we can continue to walk around. Catching ingots of a head. Let's not go over there just yet. Okay, we can't really go anywhere. Give me my money back. Miss Wen has already uncovered the whole story of the incident. Let's listen to it together. Miss Wen, please tell us about your findings. Alright, let's hear it, girl. Ting's death wasn't caused by ghosts, nor was it an accident. It was actually... suicide. Oh. That's suicide. That's out of the question. Today is the pivotal moment for the trial production of the Siemens Martin furnace. Ting was engrossed by this affair. There's no way he would kill himself today of all days. It is precisely because of today's importance that he chose to commit suicide. Why is that? All these years, Foreman Ting has been obsessed with studying steelmaking technology. He proposed a method that was said to greatly reduce the cost of production. As a result, the Hanyang ironworks began to receive large orders for steel rails, but it was falling apart. However, at this crucial moment, severe quality problems with the steel rails were exposed. Ting shouldn't have carried all the blame. It was mainly due to the high phosphorus content in the coke that was used. To solve this problem, he made a pledge to improve the technique once more. However, each and every trial production ended in failure. In desperation, he had no choice but to turn to superstitions and legends. What happened this morning was actually a planned suicide, or more like a sacrifice. In a weird way, it's not an unreasonable conclusion. Could it be that I put too much pressure on him? Tragic. Foreman melts body to iron and steel. National industry less than ideal. This will be the next headline of my news report. Miss Wen, you seem absolutely sure that Foreman Ting committed suicide. Do you have evidence? Well, of course. I found Foreman Ting's suicide note on the office desk, but... Wait. Hold it right there. Where's the suicide note? How come we never saw it? Such precious news material would obviously need to be protected. You! How would you hide evidence like that? I was afraid this clue would be lost, so I took it for safekeeping. How could that count as hiding evidence? Miss Wen, would it be possible to let me take a look at the letter? Sure. There's nothing special about it anyway. For many years I have given my all to try and make good steel. Nevertheless, all of my attempts and methods have ended in failure. It seems that I should follow the example of Ganjiang and Moye. Sacrificing myself to the furnace will surely move the hearts of the gods. Last words of Ting Ta Feng in the office of the furnace factory floor. Shit, it really is a suicide note. Your Honor, the handwriting does look like Foreman Ting's. Miss Wen, you didn't damage the evidence, did you? Of course not. I kept it exactly the way it was. Under these circumstances, Shu Hang, go and draft an announcement. Announce the whole story of this incident and quell the rumors. Hold on. Something is questionable about this letter. It's just an ordinary letter. What's wrong with it? He hasn't used his inkstone in quite some time. There's a detail in this letter that conflicts with the existing evidence. Miss Wen, I shall review this letter one sentence at a time and question the problematic ones. Then I shall compare the questionable content with the evidence we have already collected. If I'm able to find evidence that contradicts the contents of this letter, I shall present it to you. We're going to cross-examine a suicide note. Alright, go on then. Inquiry. The problem with the suicide note. I like this double cut-in. We really are cross-examining a suicide note. Okay, so we gotta present this here. Does Miss Wen believe that Foreman Ting wrote this suicide note in the office? This letter was written with a calligraphy brush. It was written on the desk in this office. But have you ever paid attention to the inkstone on the office desk? Inkstone? This suicide note is indeed written with a calligraphy brush. It also mentions written in the office at the end. However, the only inkstone in the office is dry and has accumulated a layer of dust. Evidently, it has not been used in a long time. There's an evident contradiction. This letter could not have been written at the office. Ironworks are always dusty, so it's normal for dust to accumulate. Yet there is barely any dust on the desk, not to mention the shrine is completely spotless. It is thus clear that only the inkstone has not been used in a long time. Well, what if Foreman Ting carried a brush and ink around with him? Who in the world would carry an inkstone around? You're being too unreasonable. Mr. Detective going to dismiss this possibility? Miss Wen, you are welcome to make such an assumption. However, there is one detail on this letter that contradicts the signature. Oh boy, what? One detail in this letter that contradicts the signature. Fuck, I don't know. I've never actually used the hint function before. It was written in the office, a certain mark wouldn't be. The suicide note was written in the office, a certain mark would not be present. That's the only thing that stands out to me is completely odd. Might be completely wrong. Shen, you're saying something wrong with the creases? Precisely. Oh, is that it? It's literally... It was folded up and brought here in someone's pocket and not written on the desk. If it was written... Oh, shit. That makes way too much sense. I way overthought that. Miss Wen said that she had specifically kept the letter as it was to prevent damaging evidence. Therefore, Miss Wen was not the one who caused these creases, correct? That's right. I didn't make those creases. When you discovered the letter, it was lying flat out on the surface of the office desk, correct? Yeah, what's the problem? There are creases in the letter. Usually a letter is folded so that it is more convenient to carry. If this letter was truly written by Foreman Ting in the office before he committed suicide, why would he go through the trouble of folding it? Maybe he wrote the letter somewhere else. But this letter clearly states that it was written in the office of the furnace factory floor. That's true. Could be that this suicide note was forged. That is correct. Someone is trying to cover up the truth of Foreman Ting's death. What? What need is there to cover up Foreman Ting's death? The workers clearly saw him jump to the furnace. Could it be possible that the workers who witnessed the incident are hiding something? Who? Go and bring all the workers who were present at the time of the incident for questioning. Yes, sir. Mr. Detective, you still haven't completely convinced me about the problem of the suicide note. None of us can accurately predict the state of mind of a person before their death. It's also possible that Ting wrote the letter somewhere else, then left it in the office. Although this is highly unlikely, the possibility does exist. We should not make conclusions based on a single piece of evidence. Let's discuss it later. Let's put the matter of the suicide note on hold and discuss other doubts first. Fine. Your Honor, Old Chow and Ah Wu are here. Come on in. The two of you need to recall the events of this morning once more. Don't omit any details. We spent all morning saying the same things a bunch of times. Ah Wu, answer His Honor's question properly. Oh. Regarding what Old Chow and Ah Wu saw this morning, the time my master and I were in the middle of the casting ingots. I suddenly saw the Foreman Ting. He was resting against the railing next to outlet number 2. You got the big vat on the crane in front of you. If you move that to the side. When Ah Wu informed me what he saw, he noticed that the shutter behind Foreman Ting was open. But the outlet shutter opened at the same time as the appearance of the foreman. I think he probably opened it himself. Seconds after, Ting suddenly dived forward. Right after that, the ladle exploded. There is one contradiction within their statements that is related to this evidence. Let's present this here. He couldn't have opened it, especially from the angle he was at. It was impossible for Foreman Ting to open the outlet shutter by himself. He could not have been the only person on site. Why not? The lever is very long. To pull it, one must stand on the other side of the molten steel basin. However, when they saw Ting, they also found the outlet shutter open. This could not be achieved by one person alone. Yet, it might not have been completely simultaneous. After all, Ah Wu and I weren't staring at the other side the entire time. Mr. Detective, couldn't Foreman Ting just pull open the shutter, then sprint to the ladle? And jump over a vat of molten steel? No, he could not, because this was present on site. Fire. After Foreman Ting pulled the lever, he must have stepped over the basin to reach the falling spot. I'm unable to get any closer due to the heat. However, once the outlet shutter opened, the basin will be filled with molten steel of 1600 degrees Celsius. A person could not possibly pass through. To reach the spot he died from, Ting had to pass through the charging area before the furnaces. This could not be achieved in a short amount of time. Perhaps Foreman Ting opened the outlet shutter beforehand. It was only a coincidence that old Chow and Ah Wu didn't see him do it. The outlet shutter was closed the whole time before the incident. I'm not lying. Too into the scoop. You didn't get the facts. Even if old Chow and Ah Wu possibly missed sighting him. When Ting passed through the refilling area, he was bound to run into the furnace charger, Old Lee. How do we explain the fact that Old Lee was completely oblivious to Ting's appearance? Or did the 5 ghosts transport him? Oh no. Did the shrine unleash its powers? We still have that to explain. Ghosts and God do not work here. The will of a person is. Another person must have been present at the scene of Foreman Ting's falling incident. And when Foreman Ting leaned against the railing, that person pulled open the outlet shutter. Wait a second. With old Chow and Ah Wu watching in front of the furnace and old Lee working in the back, there really was another person present on site. How could they possibly remain undetected? Using this piece of evidence, they would be able to conceal themselves tactfully. Let's save the game first. Money, obviously. Generally don't know. Large cover. I'm overthinking this again, aren't I? False. The evidence that aided the murderer is within Supervisor Ho's testimony. It is indeed what I had said. What's the problem? I got it. The murderer used the headcloth to impersonate Foreman Ting. You're wrong. The person I saw as clear as day was definitely Foreman Ting. Mr. Detective, even if someone was impersonating Foreman Ting, it doesn't explain how he could appear simultaneously on both sides of the basin, right? Allow me to reconsider. Ow. False. I wrote about Mr. Detective's absurd trail of thought and published it in the newspapers. I'll probably run into readers with potty mouths. Oh. Utilize the ladle. Oh. But the lady was referring to the basin at the bottom, not the, I got it. Shen is talking about a visual blind spot. This so-called blind spot is referred to an area that cannot be seen. Yes, the ladle is 2 meters tall and 1.5 meters in diameter. It definitely blocked their vision. My master and I were standing in different places when we were casting. One of us will always be looking at the other side. Old child, where were you and Awu standing during this task? What was your distance from the ladle? Usually I stand on the left side of the ladle and Awu stands next to me. We're close to it. I observed the two of you working from the metal casting platform. Both of you have blind spots when you are working, and your blind spots intersect with each other. That is where the suspect hid themselves. My master and I don't just stand there. The ladle moves, we move along with it. Wouldn't we see them once we start walking? Reason why you would not be able to see the suspect is because the suspect moved the ladle. It's quite simple. By moving alongside the ladle, they could continuously stay in the blind spot. That's... sneaky, sneaky. True. As long as they can't see the workers wouldn't be able to see them. Because the path of light is reversible. Interesting. This was published in a novel or column. I'm sure readers would be interested. However, I'm afraid Mr. Detective forgot that Ting's falling caused an explosion. There was another person on the platform at the time. How could they survive? Yet there were no other casualties in that falling incident today. How do you explain that? I believe the suspect could have hidden here. Sure. The passageway on the right side of Furnace 2 was not affected. They could hide here. Hidden behind the ladle, they were not far from the passageway where the explosion occurred. While Ting's appearance caught the attention of the workers, they hid inside the passageway. Sounds like the suspect not only knows steelmaking, but also knows people well. That still doesn't seem right. Awu, what right do you have to interrupt their conversation? Awu, what other problems are you aware of? Clearly saw Ting leaning on the railing. He toppled over because it suddenly disappeared. If the shrine didn't unleash its powers, how could the railing suddenly disappear? Railings won't disappear to thin air, kiddo. Ghosts don't exist in this world either. I saw it with my own eyes, I swear. I'm also 100% sure you saw things incorrectly. It's easy for people's memories to get confused when they're nervous or afraid. I didn't see incorrectly. Miss Wen, why are you so sure that Awu was mistaken? When I was taking photos yesterday evening, the railing was already missing. Old Lee, the furnace charger, was the only person on duty last night. He claims that he didn't install any railings. You don't believe me? Look at this photo. Shen, there really is no railing above the ladle. But I saw him leaning against the railing. Stop sticking your neck out, you. Too much talk is always a loss. Mr. Shen, if there wasn't a railing above the ladle, that means that Ting stood there by himself. The workers are also absolutely certain that there wasn't anyone around him. Then how did he fall into the ladle? And that's why I said it was a suicide. However, combined with Mr. Detective's deduction, it's possible someone is helping him. The disappearance of the railing and Ting's falling may be connected to this. This is the powder that afoot found near the railings. This powder is actually grayish-white particles that have a lingering, pungent smell. It's heat-triggered. I don't know how deeply I theorized it, but I think I theorized it last time. It's heat-triggered in the way that it... when they opened up the shutter and started increasing the temperature, whatever he was leaning on, was braced on, reacted to the heat, crumbled, and he went toppling into the ladle. This is the residue of a burned substance. We have only found it at the site because of the incident. This indeed doesn't seem like something used in steel making. We believe that the suspect set up some kind of mechanism on site that caused Ting's falling. Never thought that the story behind a falling incident could be so complicated. The mechanism is quite newsworthy. So what kind of mechanism was it exactly? Well, we still need some time to investigate that. I have seen a number of Western machines, strange, intricate things that left me in awe. The mechanism you speak of can be restored. This whole incident will basically make sense. Ghosts and gods were not at work here, but machinery caused it all. However, there is still one thing that I can't understand. The series of plans was quite complicated and required the cooperation of Foreman Ting. Why would Foreman Ting be at the mercy of another? Do not know. I'm afraid that Foreman Ting at the time had already come to harm. How is that so? Ah Vu claimed that he saw Foreman Ting leaning against the railings, staring directly downward. The railings were burning hot, but it did not matter to him, because he could not feel anymore. His eyes were not looking down, but instead closed. This also explains why Foreman Ting did not jump down, but instead dived forward. Therefore, I suspect this was a murder. Murder? Then, Your Honor, we need to conduct another round of investigations. Although we have a preliminary deduction of the suspect's MO, there are still many mysteries. Like how the suspect left the scene. As well as the suspect's identity and their motive, we have no clue at all at the moment. Ting is stubborn and has offended many people. But he's a diligent man who shouldn't have suffered such misfortune. At present, the ironworks can't afford to be delayed any further. Your Honor, the nature of a homicide is different. If the villain commits more crimes, the ironworks will lose even more. If there is no conclusion by tomorrow morning, I may draft an announcement to calm public opinion. Besides, I believe Mr. Detective will uncover the truth before tomorrow morning. Wink. Isn't that right, great detective? Oh, we've been upgraded. I will do my best. Then let's act according to Miss Wen's suggestion. Shen, why is Miss Wen on our side all of a sudden? Because murder makes a better scoop. Doesn't seem to mind that she lost to you either. Because it wasn't a competition. I'm right here. I heard that, kiddo. Who said this was a competition? This is our protagonist thought space. What are you doing here? The news should be more important to Miss Wen. How about this? A falling incident shrouded with mystery. Detective tries to uncover conspiracy. Shen, what should we do next? If Foreman Ting has already come to harm when the falling incident occurred. That proves that the second floor furnace area is most likely not the primary crime scene. We need to think of a way to find the primary crime scene. Many new deaths. These particles only appeared at the site of the incident, likely related to some mechanism. Afu, do you remember what it is? Not yet, but its smell is really familiar. I'll keep an eye out for it in the ironworks. Even if the suspect used the ladle to stay undercover and avoided the sight of Old Chow and Ah Vu, how were they able to leave the scene completely undetected? After the incident, workers were fighting the fire in front of the furnace. They would have seen them if they walked out from the front. I believe their safest choice would be the elevator in the charging area behind the furnace. But But old Lee said that he didn't see anyone unless he... We need to reinvestigate the surroundings of the charging area. No body, no autopsy. There's no way to know what unforeseen mishap Foreman Ting ran into. Shit, how are you supposed to find the primary crime scene? I don't even know if he was already dead or in a state of unconsciousness before the fall. We need to broaden the scope of our investigation. Let's look at the places Foreman Ting had been to before the incident. Foreman Ting's really unpopular. Nobody likes him. Feels like everyone has a motive. Alright. Shit, this door leads to the backyard. Let's head over there and take a look. Oh, okay. This is a desk that Supervisor Ho moved here temporarily. There's a headcloth on the desk. Supervisor Ho was using it to bag the money. There's an account book next to it. Let me take a look. Oh, Lee's wages were deducted a lot. The reason is because he skipped work multiple times. Ah Wu's wages were the second most deducted for being late. Old Chow's have also been deducted. These are circumstances worth keeping in mind. Money motives. Hello, Awu. Awu, what are you doing here? Did you just say that the foreman was murdered? At present, it is highly likely that he was murdered. Mr. Shen, you believe what I say, right? Yes. I remembered something strange. The master doesn't let me say much. I'm not sure if this is important or not. It would be a pretty wild twist if this was like a Orient Express. Everyone was in on it. There's no one else here, Awu. Be at ease and tell us. This morning I noticed that the crane hook was not stationed at its usual position. Where's the crane hook usually positioned? It's supposed to be between furnace number 1 and furnace number 2. When I got there this morning, I saw that the crane hook was stationed in front of furnace number 2. And there was a railing there too. Is it possible that someone used the crane hook during working hours? Not likely. No one would move the crane hook if we weren't casting ingots. So you suspect that someone used the crane hook last night? That's right. Thank you, Awu. That really helps our investigations. Anyway, hurry up and find that murderer. Auntie Vu has already left. Bye now. Influenced by who? Adverse has been losing money. Now someone's dead. Think we'd survive this? Keep working and stop worrying. Some fresh air? Alright. No fresh air. Fair enough. Anything else we can talk to you about? Nope. We can go in the backyard. We can go upstairs. Let's go in the backyard first. Where's this? Oh, hey. Well, there's the elevator. Tools in the chest. A file, screwdriver, a saw, and a wrench. Lots of tools placed on top of this chest. Tarp. I'm sure it's pig's iron under this tarpaulin. Huh? This isn't pig iron? Shen, there are rubber blocks piled underneath here. A large quantity of rubber. Is there a need for rubber in the process of steel making? Not at all. These rubber blocks belong to Mr. Lee. They're just temporarily stacked here. Afu, under our feet. Ah, these are scraps of rubber. That means someone processed rubber blocks here. Rubber railing? Rubber railing would melt under 1600 degrees Celsius. There's a uniform over here. Looks really dirty. It's all covered in rust. Only a worker in the charging area could make their clothes this dirty. Sir, do you know who this clothing belongs to? I'm gonna ask around and see which worker came by the warehouse today. Are you sure this uniform was discarded today? I just cleaned this place up with old Chow and the others last night before we got off work. The situation is worth recording. Ah. Kujri. How's the investigation going, you guys? We're still investigating, and there's some questions we wanted to ask you, Mr. Patrolman. However, we're short on time, so we hope that you can be straight with us. Where's this coming from? My headache is sometimes good and sometimes bad. Then is it good or bad right now? With a murderous suspect on the loose in the ironworks, Mr. Lee is already troubled enough. If there's anything you want to know, you can try asking me. Alright. Did Foreman Ting ever have a problem with anyone? There's quite a few. Let's count Ah Wu first. Was it because Foreman Ting was strict and paid Ah Wu's wages late? Not entirely. Ting was stricter with Ah Wu more than he was with anyone else, so Ah Wu hated him. Foreman Ting came from the backwater countryside and was the youngest in his family. In the past 2 years, his family died of illness or old age. He was the last one left. There's also an old bachelor. There's no one to even handle his funeral affairs. Ah Wu was also born to a poor family. He's clever. Everyone knows Ting treated him like his son. Less regrettable that Ting was obsessed with steel making. He was not considerate at all. Obviously he meant well, but sometimes his words sounded harsh and mean. Seems like there's treated him like your son affectionate and treated him like your son derogatory. That's why Ah Wu kicked over his shrine a while ago. This father-son relationship was the derogatory variety. So Foreman Ting was really quite alone. It sounds so pitiful. Other than Ah Wu, who else did Foreman Ting have a dispute with? Old Lee is already quite stubborn, so these two stubborn old men often fought. Also, a while back, Foreman Ting even beat up that foreign boss from the laboratory. The what? Thanks to his bad temper, he lost his job in the lab and became a labor foreman here. Foreign boss in the laboratory. What? There's still one face to meet here. Wen Koshin. No more questions. These gutty sacks are filled with lime. Monument. This monument was erected when Hanyang Ironworks was first put into operation. At the time, there were quite a few foreign engineers who came to work at the ironworks. Oh, hello. This laboratory is huge! Well, speak of the devil. I'm just telling Mr. Robinson about you two detectives. There are a few questions we would like to ask Mr. Robinson. Of course, allow me to introduce you. This is Mr. Robinson, a chemist from England. He is also the head of this laboratory. Mr. Robinson, this is Mr. Shen. Beside him is his assistant, Fu. Ah, Mr. Shen, I did hear thy deductions are marvelous. This case is still under investigation, so your cooperation would be greatly appreciated. If it be true that there is aught I can help thee with, prithee did let me know what? Mr. Robinson, I'm also really interested in chemistry. There are some experiments that come to mind. Can I borrow your laboratory table? Aye, aye. There are several test tubes and a scale on the laboratory table. Oh, there you are. Almost out of time here, so... Let's talk to you at least. Why are you doing this to me, Mr. Robinson? Mr. Robinson, can I ask you to give us an introduction to the tasks of a chemist? To be able to smelt metals, it is helpful to understand the composition of the minerals. Decide the ingredients, proportions in which refining process to use it. Mr. Robinson is saying, before steelmaking, we need to know the composition of the minerals. Thank you. Then we decide on the ingredients, proportions, and which refining process to use. He's responsible for running tests on the composition of various minerals through chemistry. So Mr. Robinson is also in charge of chemical testing for the quality of the steel rails, right? We do not have the arts to explore the caliber of the steel rails. Mr. Robinson means to say is that the Ironworks Laboratory does not have the credentials to run tests on steel rails. Credentials? Railway constructs, mainly Foreman companies, have their own preferred testing institutions. The test reports issued by our ironworks are unable to get approved. They speaketh the truth, though. Foreman Ting. I heard that he once served as your assistant. Why was he transferred to the factory floor? Ting wasn't very talented. I applaud his contributions as mine aid. He did not help me in many ways. In return, if I give him bounteous rewards. Now, equal so, he did make it an unforgivable misprison. It was the cut purse. He did steal my notes, which did have multitudinous data of the essence. He did steal the instruments that did return the next morn. Oh, me the gods, doth he truly think your time? Sir, please, I am dying here. Everything hither hath a fixed placement. I did know it of his trickery afoot. It sounds like Foreman Ting just wanted to gain more knowledge. The lab hath its own rules. I doth not like people who doth not follow the rules. I mused going to work on the factory floor was the superior answer for Ting. Oh god. Oh god. That hurt. Shen, once I saw those rubber blocks, I understood everything. Pungent grayish-white powder we found at the site was the residue from the burning of rubber. You mean to say that the murderer had set up a rubber rod there as the railing? Rubber I have seen in the past is soft and incapable of supporting the weight of a person. What we found in the warehouse was not ordinary rubber, but vulcanized hard rubber. At ambient temperature, it can sustain a person's weight and won't easily become deformed. But once the outlet shutter opened, and the temperature close by rises rapidly, the rubber will then soften into form, causing Foreman Ting to topple over. What distance would seem like the railing had suddenly disappeared. That is a clever trick. It appears the murderer is very familiar with what is stored inside the warehouse. How do we resolve that doubt? Hanyang Ironworks. June 1894, the Hanyang Ironworks was officially put into operation. A monument was constructed for commemoration. This is a real place we're investigating here. Many skilled workers from overseas were introduced at the beginning of the establishment of the ironworks. To thank them for their remarkable contributions, the upper half of the monument was engraved with Hanyang in pinyin, and June in French. Pointed hammer and flat hammer at the center was the emblem of the Hanyang Ironworks. Below half the monument was engraved with an olive branch symbolizing peace and friendship. Unfortunately destroyed with the flames of war. This monument is now... Oh, it's a shame. Well, dang. I dare say it. We may have met Best Girl. That's right, Auntie Vu. Just kidding. I do love Auntie Vu, though. We may have met our rival and investigation friend. Auntie Vu, Best Girl. I'm kidding, I love them both. Alright. We will end off here. When we return, we're probably getting to the end of this. How much do we have to translate Mr. Robinson going forward? I don't know. We will see. Until then.